Hello there, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley.
It's pure agony to have to sit and do this every single day.
The pregnant mother from Didcot who says she's worried about her children getting sick and her own mental health because of a shortage of local GPs.
GP appointment lottery, you've got to call first thing in the morning. The line is generally busy and then you get told the appointments are all gone and to call back again tomorrow.
The family from Ukraine moved into new council accommodation with no carpets or furniture. A Swindon charity says those who fled the war for Wiltshire need more support.
Also this Wednesday, the Strictly stars hitting the stage for a dazzling tour of the region as they reveal their dream celebrity dance partners.
And smart seagulls, why stealing your chips and ice creams could be a sign of their intelligence. Good evening. A mother from Didcot says it's taken her 7 weeks to get a GP appointment and worries about the health of her family. Aisling Byrne is 7 months pregnant and suffers with her mental health.
Well, the local MP, David Johnston, says he's becoming increasingly concerned about the shortage of GPs. As health bosses say, there have been challenges in building the new surgery promised for Great Western Park. With more details, here's Natalie Verney.
This has been Aisling for the last month and a half.
It's pure agony to have to sit and do this every single day.
At 7 months pregnant, Aisling is worried about her mental health. She made an attempt on her life last year and was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder in January. But she's been told therapy can't start until her unborn baby is 6 months old. However, she's struggling to cope.
I've asked for help from various different places like the hospital, the obstetrician, the midwife, and again they just keep saying you need to speak to your GP, which I'm trying desperately to, same as many other people are, and no luck.
In a statement, Didcot Health Centre apologised for the difficulty and frustration Aisling has experienced. They said the fundamental challenge that we are facing is one of capacity, in that we simply do not have enough appointments to offer our patients. The rapidly growing population of Didcot and the surrounding areas has increased the pressure on our capacity to serve, to the point at which our patients often face frustrating waiting times. Didcot has grown a lot in recent years, and yet 8 years after a new health centre was promised on Great Western Park, it's still yet to be built, which is putting pressure on all three of the town's practices.
It changes, so sometimes you can get an appointment if you're just happy, if you're just lucky, But I know it's hard for a lot of people, they just don't seem to be able to get appointments.
I have to phone up and then you have to wait in a long queue. And so it is quite difficult at the moment.
I had a kidney stone the other day and no appointments whatsoever.
Local MP David Johnston raised the issue in Parliament last week.
What I'm hoping to do here in Parliament is raise attention for this issue and lean on our local council leaders, our local health leaders to work together and fix this problem rather than just blaming somebody else for it.
We saw this coming many years ago. We raised the alarm about this many years ago, and we've tried to work with the invested parties to resolve this. It is beyond the powers of the GPs to solve this issue. It needs to come from a higher level.
The local Integrated Care Board is responsible for providing health services in the area. They admitted to me that there have been challenges in delivering the promised health centre, but that they're working hard alongside the District Council and local GPs to solve them. In the short term, they're looking to temporarily expand Woodlands Medical Centre.
I can't do calls, I can't do meetings, I can't do...
Good morning, Didcot Health Centre.
7 weeks after trying, Aisling finally got through.
I worry that I'm going to get worse and there's no help. I worry about my son getting sick. I worry about the health of my unborn child. It's really terrifying, actually.
Natalie Verney, ITV News.
The sister of Caversham head teacher Ruth Perry, who took her own life after her school was downgraded by Ofsted, says she had a positive meeting with the Education Secretary Gillian Keegan. Ofsted says all inspections are carried out professionally and sensitively, But Ruth's sister, Julia Waters, says the school inspection system must be reformed.
There was a genuine recognition in the room that something went terribly wrong, that Ruth was not an inadequate teacher, and therefore that the whole system needs to be looked at. So I'm encouraged by 3 hours of very positive discussions and listening, and by the kind of commitments that have been made, that in Ruth's name we will push forward for a more humane and more effective, fit for purpose inspection system for schools.
A minority Conservative administration will run Cherwell District Council, ending political stalemate. The Tories lost the council to no overall control in the local elections 3 weeks ago, but Labour, Lib Dem and Green councillors were unable to form a coalition. It means the Conservative Barry Wood has been reinstated as the leader.
There's more than 1,000 Ukrainian refugees currently being housed in Wiltshire, with the majority still living with local families. But what happens when their hosts can no longer accommodate them?
Well, that's the reality for one family after fleeing their homeland over a year ago. Louisa Britton has their story.
Yeah, hello girl.
Anastasia arrived in the UK just over a year ago, and since living with a host family near Marlborough, she's got a job at a local restaurant and both her children have settled into school. But now the hosts can no longer accommodate their family and they're having to move away from the local community they've called home for the last 12 months.
Now I'm really scared because without support, like from council, single mother cannot normally live here because pay all bills. I really try to be normal human and building something here. Yeah, I have one job and I will have second one and I try, but I really need support. I'm going in our temporary home.
She's now one of 5 refugee households to have been given temporary accommodation in the county, 30 miles away in Chippenham.
I was very disappointed when yesterday I come to our temporary accommodation and open doors and don't see nothing, no carpets, no furniture, and I was a little bit in shock. Yes, thank God I have a car. And I just arrived to my sponsor and asked, can I stay for one more night?
Anastasia's situation, though, is not uncommon, according to the Swindon Welcomes Ukraine charity.
I think that adult people who came alone, they're more flexible with this because they can adopt quickly. But for moms and children, I think it's a very stressful situation, and community and local authorities should pay more attention to moms with children, because I think that more and more stories of women with children who will need help will appear.
Wiltshire Council receives £10,000 from the government for each refugee they take in. But given the rental sector in the county, that doesn't go far, according to the leader.
What I want to do is put them in somewhere where they can stay for 3, 5, 10 years if they want to. So we're looking at buying housing as a council to make sure, use the funding that we've had from government to buy housing to accommodate those Ukrainian families who are not going to be able to use the private rental sector.
Like many refugees, Anastasia's tried to build a new life in the community she was welcomed by. But what the future holds for her family now remains unclear. Louisa Britton, ITV News.
You're watching ITV News Meridian in the Thames Valley. Coming up in the programme.
Find out how our reporter Natalie Bohr did when she caught up with the Strictly dancers.
I'll just stick to the weather, I think. I'll be back a little bit later with the forecast to see if it's anything to dance about.
And you can find more on today's top stories at itv.com/Meridian. You can call us. The number is 0808 1010 095. You can also follow us on Facebook, on Twitter and on Instagram. We always love to hear from you.
A woman who was raped by a man from Sussex is backing calls to reform sexual offence trials after describing her experience in court as soul-destroying.
The latest crime survey for England and Wales shows that 1 in 6 people over the age of 16 have been the victim of a sex crime.
Well, the Law Commission, the independent body that scrutinises our laws, has launched a new consultation to work out what changes are needed to protect a victim's rights to a fair trial. Catherine Walker has our report.
I was told it would be my time in court. It would be my time to say my story. But the whole process is traumatic.
Claire, whose name we've changed to protect her identity, was relieved when her rapist was jailed in March. She waited years to go to court and get justice, but she says her treatment during the trial itself pushed her to breaking point.
It had a drastic impact on my mental health, because when you're there in a terrifying situation, an atmosphere where somebody is basically shouting at you and you're being called a liar over and over again, it's probably the scariest thing I've been through in my life. It's soul-destroying.
The latest figures show that more than 28,000 sexual offences were reported in the South East last year. However, despite these numbers, the Law Commission says people will be reluctant to report sexual offences or proceed with criminal charges if they're scared of the experience of going to court. After a government-sponsored review of the existing rules, the Commissioner for Criminal Law says change is needed.
So what we want to do is to improve the trial process for complainants of sexual offences. We want to try to prevent rape myths and misconceptions from contaminating the trial, to treat complainants more humanely, at the same time ensuring that defendants receive a fair trial.
The new report into sexual offences trials will now be sent for public consultation. Among its questions are whether juries and lawyers should be given more training to prevent victim blaming.
We hear a lot from victim survivors that the process is really, really difficult for them. There's a lot of misconceptions that are within society that then are transferred into the courtroom. We need to ensure that victim survivors are really at the heart of this process going forward, and they're not being scrutinised or feeling that they're on trial.
But while the consultation is ongoing, the Crown Prosecution Service said they already have some special measures in place to help victims.
It can be a traumatic experience. We are an adversarial system, but there are lots of support mechanisms out there. They can give their evidence behind a screen. We can even clear the public gallery in certain instances, or to give them the confidence to give the best evidence that they can.
In a statement, the government told ITV News they will respond to the proposals in due course. But reflecting on her own traumatic experience in court, Claire and other survivors say drastic change is long overdue. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
Well, let's talk to Harriet Bland, a solicitor for the Centre for Women's Justice. Harriet, this is a massive consultation document from the Law Commission. The summary itself is over 50 pages long. But what proposals do you think will make a difference?
Well, there's two areas I'd point to, Matt. The first is on rape myths and how they affect our trials. The Law Commission's looking at a number of areas. For example, should we be limiting the way that barristers cross-examine victims so they're not subjected to humiliating personal attacks on the witness stand? Or should we bring in expert evidence so that juries better understand how rape myths affect victims' behaviour? And then the second area that they're looking at is how to prevent unnecessary attempts to access victims' personal records, particularly therapy records. So the Law Commission is proposing that there should be a higher threshold for access to those records, and also that victims should get access to independent legal advice when requests are made.
Do you think these proposals, these changes, these recommendations are comprehensive enough? Do they go far enough? If not, what else would you like to see?
They're certainly promising, and we're glad that these proposals are being made, but I'd say that we should remember this is just a consultation. It's not going to affect how victims are being treated in the justice system now, and we really need the government to act. The Victims Bill is going through Parliament at the moment, and this would be a really excellent opportunity for the government to take action.
I guess one of the big issues is victims feeling confident enough in the system to come forward in the first place. What advice would you like to give someone thinking about reporting sexual violence?
Well, ultimately, I think that's going to be a decision for each individual survivor, and I completely understand why people find it very hard to trust the system. But I would say, if people aren't aware, there are independent sexual violence advisors, ISVAs, who are specialist support workers in every local rape crisis centre, who can be with you through the process of reporting to the police and up to trial.
OK, Harriet Bland, we have to leave it there, but thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
We ought to add that anyone can take part in the consultation and give their feedback on sexual offence trials until the end of September. There's more information on how you can get involved and support as well on our website. itv.com/news, as ever, is the address.
And the ITV Evening News continues with the national and international news at 6:30 with all the details tonight. Here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the programme, Boris Johnson ditches his government-appointed lawyers for the COVID inquiry. It follows the handing over of the former Prime Minister's diaries to police, which allegedly revealed more pandemic rule-breaking. Also ahead, inflation falls to single figures for the first time in months, but food prices are still worryingly high, and it could yet mean further rises in interest rates. And it is the end of sharing passwords for Netflix accounts. But will the crackdown help boost subscribers? Well, join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Next, be prepared for a lot of sequins and sparkles because the Strictly Come Dancing pros are hitting stages across the region.
Yes, 10 dancers from the smash hit show are taking part in the official tour, which is heading to Brighton and to Portsmouth.
Well, last night they waltzed their way to Bournemouth. We sent Natalie Bohr to waltz along with them.
Feels like only yesterday you were doing Strictly and now you're out on tour. Do you ever stop?
No.
We're dancing all year round.
No,
Absolutely.
why would you?
Yeah.
No, we love what we do. We don't want to stop.
No,
Right?
No, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
And how different are the live shows to the television show?
Well, it's theatre, you know, theatre is a live performance and you have the opportunity to feel all 2 hours of it, you know, and you have audience that give you back the energy and it's, I don't know, it's my favorite thing, live performance.
I'd say as well, when we've got the main show, we are there, but it is more about the celebrities. It's about what we're going to do for the celebrities, training them up, whereas this live show is about the pros. First of all, you get to see a lot of the big group numbers, which everyone loves seeing. There's a lot of individual numbers as well. Everyone's doing different solos. We get to hear everyone's voices as well. So everyone has that little moment to actually talk about themselves and what they've been up to.
It had to be you, wonderful you. So you obviously all do get on. How much fun is it being on the road together and backstage?
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
We all have our habits, don't we? Like me and Luba and Karen, we like to go to the back of the bus. We're always at the back.
Yeah.
We like kind of have our little moment there. Some of the guys love to listen to music a lot, but what's nice is we all understand each other really well because it's not just on the tours. Throughout the year we're
and
around
because
each other.
we know each other so well, we know
understanding very well each other.
But it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Who's the most annoying on the tour bus?
Oh, I'm going to say Nikita. He's been the loudest.
All of you have signed up for this year's Strictly. That's really exciting.
Very exciting.
Very excited.
And it will be there just like that. We'll finish this tour and we are back
Ready?
again in rehearsals.
Back in rehearsals, and all of a sudden it's Christmas again.
Yeah, true.
I love it, and it's not just the dancers, it's backstage, wardrobe department, hair, makeup. Everyone's always excited when we find out who's back again. Occasionally we have new faces popping up, so it's getting to know them, but between everyone, it is a massive family, and we hear that a lot, but that's not fake. That is real.
It's such a team of people that just love what they do so much, and they're so passionate about it that it doesn't even feel like you're going to work.
And is there anyone any of you would desperately like to dance with? A celebrity that you've got in mind that you want to
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh wow, straight in
Absolutely,
there.
he's there. He's in. I'm putting it out to the universe here. Gordon, please.
I love to dance with Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what? She might be too tall for me, but I don't care. I'm going to say Jill Scott.
Guys, a couple of years ago, Anton de Beek showed me a few steps.
Yeah.
I don't think I've improved over the years, but would you guys be happy to show me a few moves?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
we can do
We'll
Let's
teach you the
go.
whole first act.
She is brave to try. I'm not sure I would have done that. Would you sign up if you got the call?
No, it looks too difficult. It would be too difficult. And I thought Natalie did a brilliant job. Would you do it?
I've got the spray tan, I just lack the talent.
I'm not commenting on that.
Don't say anything.
Brilliant.
Now, it doesn't, or it shouldn't, look like a subject that needed a full-blown scientific study, but it's had one, and it seems that seagulls can work out what food is worth stealing, according to researchers at the University of Sussex.
Well, apparently the herring gulls watch what humans are tucking into, and because they're smart, copy what we choose. What does all this tell us? Probably what we already knew. Hang on to your chips. With the full story, Sarah Saunders.
Cool.
It's your average trip to Brighton Beach. Sun, stones and seagulls on the prowl to see what they can scavenge. But new research from the University of Sussex suggests herring gulls might be keeping a close eye on us to work out what is safe to eat.
We had people on the beach eating from a crisp packet, and obviously each different flavour is a different colour. And then we had other crisp packets nearby, and birds would try to forage at the coloured crisp packets which matched those that the experimenter was eating from. This is really exciting because not many animal species are able to learn socially from other species.
As we compete for coastal spaces, the birds are becoming more and more at home in the urban environment, and that can cause friction. Dina Wilson resorted to wearing a colander on her head to avoid a protective mother gull.
It drew blood. I had a big scab on my head and it was quite sore.
These seagulls cut out the middleman altogether and went direct to the shops.
He knows what he's going in to get him.
Along the south coast, they've seen it all.
And there was a seagull came down to the cafe outside there, went to a plate and swallowed a fork, a whole fork, and it just went down.
I paid £15 for an ice cream. It's a lovely, great Italian thing. And this thing come over, and I thought I was being attacked. I thought someone hit me on the back of the head, but it was a seagull, and he went off my ice cream.
That was 15 quid well spent.
I know.
We've all experienced the seagull standoff.
But some research suggests they can be seen off with a good hard stare.
And if that doesn't work, well, the researchers have what might be a better suggestion.
The only way that we can gradually reduce the nuisance that they have is to reduce the foraging opportunities that we give them via our behaviour. And so the only thing we can really do is to reduce litter, and that will reduce the boldness and the interest that gulls have in human food. It might take a decade or so, but it would be possible to do that.
So if we want to get along with our feathered friends who have every right to be beside the seaside, the best way might be to change our behaviour. Sarah Saunders, ITV News.
So in brief, don't feed them. Was essentially
No, don't. I've been attacked. It's pretty terrifying. Oh my goodness, every time I went to Cornwall I used to get attacked. Anyway, moving on. Lovely day there, wasn't it? And
it was.
Wonderful day for most of us, but not for if you've got hay fever.
That's right. Yes, of course, the weather has really perked up of late, but as any hay fever sufferer will tell you, it's perfect conditions for pollen to get on the move. It's dry, it's warm, but it's not too warm. It's breezy, but not too windy. Now, pollen season is split into three main parts. So tree pollen initially, March to May, grass pollen now starting and taking us through to July, and then weed joins at the end June to September. But grass pollen is what 95% of hay fever sufferers struggle with. So some hints and tips for anyone who is suffering. There are some simple things you can do. So if you're heading out, the main aim is to create a bit of a barrier. So sunglasses, preferably the wraparound variety, bit of nose balm can actually trap pollen particles before they get into the airwaves. If you're at home, close the windows and the doors. When you've come in from outside, showering a change of clothes, kind of avoid you carrying that pollen around for any longer. And similarly, rather than hanging the laundry out, as tempting as it is, that can bring further pollen in when you bring it inside. So dry it inside.
All brilliant tips. Very, very quickly, another bank holiday coming up. Are we going to be lucky?
I know, third bank holiday of the month. It's looking good. High pressure in charge, lots of dry weather, lots of sun, and quite warm in the best of the sunshine as well.
Oh, savour a forecast like that.
Yes.
Brilliant stuff. Let's get the full forecast in all its joy. Here's Pip.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Well, of course, it has been another pretty glorious day out there for just about all of us, and more of the same really through the next few days. We hold on to the dry conditions where we see the best of any sunshine. It should still feel pretty warm, but we will still have a few cool nights on the cards. And of course, it's all thanks to high pressure. It's been very much in charge for some days now, and it sticks with us right through the bank holiday weekend and well into next week too. So keeping things nice and settled, as I said, some warm sunshine by day, but clear and potentially quite chilly nights. So out there at the moment, we're looking at largely clear skies, and we hold on to the clear and dry conditions overnight tonight. With those clear skies and winds easing down as well, we will see one or two mist patches developing, and temperature-wise very similar to last night. So rural spots over the last couple of nights have dropped down to around 4 or 5 Celsius. I suspect we could see similar as we head through tonight. So tomorrow morning, quite a fresh start for most of us, but a bright start, plenty of sunshine, soon burning any early mist and low cloud off. And then into the afternoon, a little change in that setup really. Perhaps a bit of fair weather cloud bubbling up for a few spots, more especially up towards the north and west, but elsewhere still plenty of sunshine. And temperatures in the sunshine similar to today, highs of 20 or 21 degrees. But do beware, of course, in that sun, it's really strong at this time of year, and UV levels will be high. These are the times of high water for tomorrow. Poole, just the one there at 5 in the afternoon. So a very quiet day on the cards tomorrow. Similar situation overnight into Friday, the cloud dissipating, so a clear and chilly start. Friday again though, bright and warm, and more of the same to come through the weekend.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Well, of course, that tree pollen season is now drawing to a close, but grass pollen getting going. Thankfully, fairly small amounts at the moment, and levels over the next few days will be low to moderate. Take care. I'll see you later.
So wall-to-wall sunshine this weekend, and in just a moment the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale.
Yes, Stacey, I've got to check. You're back with those updates. Yes, it's not me. That's it from us for now though. See you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye.